It's day 19 of solving chess puzzle series, and here we are with our first puzzle of the day. It's bishop e7, and okay, so we are noticing that there is a fork on king and queen and rook, and queen is trapped over there. There is no square where queen can move, so we'll take the f7 pawn with knight, and the pawn. The knight will be defended by bishop on b3, so king cannot take. So in that variation, will win the queen in exchange for queen. We'll get queen and pawn for knight. So it's knight takes f7. No, because it should be bishop takes f7 check. Okay, and now knight e6. So queen is trapped there, and now we'll pick up the queen with knight. So knight takes d8. Next one. Knight f4. Okay, so we're noticing that the the knight on g4 is covering h7 and f7 square, h2 and f2 square, and if we give check, then we'll win the material. I think in that variation, because the rook is only protected by the queen on g2, but after we give check, then queen has to block. So it's, or we first pick up the bishop if bishop blocked on c1, so variation starts with queen b1 check, bishop blocks, queen takes c1 check. Next one. Okay, so f7 pawn is currently attacked by the bishop on c4, and if we move the knight on d6, then it will be attacked twice, but then in that case king can castle. So we can first sacrifice the bishop on the bishop takes f7 check. No, so it should be knight d6, and now knight takes f7, and we'll win the exchange. So next one. King goes to a7. There is a fork on king and queen, but that square is covered by the knight on knight on uh, knight on b8 covering c6 square, but we can sacrifice the knight knight on b5, and in that case it has to be taken, and the a file will be open, and will win the queen, because bishop blocks, and then we'll take the bishop, and then queen takes, and then we take the queen with rook. So it's knight b5 check, it takes b5, and now we'll give check with rook, so it's rook a1 check. Next one. So it's rook and minor peasant game. Both sides have rooks and knight. Both sides have as one rook and one knight, and the white side has two extra pawns. But it looks like that there is a check on a6, and it will also skewer the uh, king and rook. So in that variation, king has to go to f5, the only square from where it can protect the rook, but then we'll fork the king and rook by delivering check with knight. So it will be knight h4 check, and we'll win the rook in that case. So it starts with rook a6 check, king goes to f5, and now we'll fork the king and rook by with knight. So it's knight h4 check, and it also forks the king and rook. Now we'll pick up the knight with the rook with knight, because if we'll take with the rook, then king can take the knight, and after the end of the variation there will be two passed pawns. So it's knight takes g6. Next one, knight takes d5, and attacking the knight once again, which was already attacked, but we will take the knight, and if bishop takes e7, then we'll take back the bishop with knight. So in that case, after the end of the variation, we'll be up a piece. So it starts with knight takes d5, bishop takes e7, and we'll take back the bishop with knight. So knight takes e7, queen takes d8, and now we'll take back the queen with rook. So rook takes d8, and after the end of the variation we are up a piece. Next one, rook d6, but this move will uh, eventually lead to checkmate. The for other side board will able to checkmate white king, because queen on f3 is covering the diagonal on f3 to h1, and will give check with rook. So after king moves to h2, then we'll give check on h1 with rook, and it will be checkmate. So it starts with rook e8 check, rook e1 check. Only move is to move the king. So king h2, and now we will deliver checkmate with rook. So it's rook h1 checkmate. Next one, king f7. So we have passed pawn on e file, which is only 3 squares away, but the other side has also knight. But if we uh, advance the king and support the pawn to promotion, then we will win in the end game. So it's king d7, e7, e6 check, e7. That's it for today. I will continue this series for tomorrow.